Good day, everyone. Tim from Timber Visions here. So today I'm going to use my tractor mounted wood splitter. I built this 2-3 years ago. I want to say for the record, I built this before any of those big splitter companies started building these things. Before I built this one, there were some companies that were making the ones that stuck straight out. It's like an I-beam that came straight out, but none of them were in this configuration. So this used to be my hydraulic splitter. It was a Yard Max 20-some ton log splitter. And when I got my super split kinetic splitter, I didn't really have a use for this anymore. And I thought to myself, when I have big rounds like this that I need to split up, and if you watched my last video, I split a couple of these up with a splitting maul, splitting axe. You saw the amount of time and effort it took to do that. That's why I built this. So basically, I just bought myself a skid steer quick attach, bought some metal to basically make a frame off of that, and then just hook these hydraulics up to my third function on the front of the tractor. So very simplistic. I can use my third function right on the joystick, run this thing in and out, split the wood. I can, come in from the side, come in from the top. I use this to kind of roll the log this way and that way. And I've already split one up over here, and it breaks it up into chunks that a guy can pick up by hand and, put onto your splitter, or I usually use a staging table, but it makes it a piece of wood that a guy can handle pretty easy. So anyway, instead of swinging the splitting maul today, I'm going to sit in the nice warm tractor today because it's 40 degrees. Once I start splitting, short sleeve will be fine. But I'll sit in the tractor and I'll split some of these up for you to view. So stick with me, you'll see this thing in action. I do want to say it's not the fastest thing in the world. It's not super fast. Stick with me, we'll get some of this split up. Okay, so I generally like to attack from the top like this. Like I said, the splitter, this hydraulic splitter wasn't fast when it had its own motor, and it's even less fast using the hydraulics on the tractor from the third function, just because it's not a huge amount of flow, but it still has the pressure and it will still get some wood split. Split on top like that. They come down. And I used to noodle these with the chainsaw, just cut them in half and then in quarters with the chainsaw. But you kind of mess up your chain a lot on your chainsaw when you do that. So, but I just kind of use it like this to roll it over. Then I'll get that last quarter split. And there's some jocking around with the tractor and stuff, Some guys put these on skid steers, those newer ones that like Easton Maids come out with. But I think that, you get a little bit more flow that way. And then you have a little, you can just pivot in place where I have to back up and turn and stuff. There we go. It's pretty much quartered up. I don't know if this went all the way through on the other side or not. Looks like it. Yep. Yep. So that's all quartered up. And I can just take this, kind of just push it out of the way so it's not in the way when I'm doing the other ones here. I can move on to my next one. When I'll put a link up on the screen up in the corner right now of the video where I built this, and there are a lot of people that complimented me about this and everything, but there are a lot of people that said, "Oh man, you're just lazy." I guess sure I'm lazy, whatever you want to say. I'm just trying to save time, trying to save energy. I'm not a young man anymore. I spent a lot of years, doing things the hard way. I'm to the point in my life where I'm trying to save a little bit of energy and time. And I'll just, do things this way. And yeah, you can split them this direction too. You got to have them in half first. Otherwise, the bite isn't big enough. I'll just kind of nudge these guys out of the way and I'll do that other one. Then I can come back with the grapple or the bucket and pick up these quarters and set them up on my staging table when I finally get some room. Get some of this split up. But I wanted to get these all chunked up so I can do some firewood production today. It's a nice cool day. No bugs. That's been the biggest thing lately. 70, 80 degrees doesn't bother me so much. But in this area, as soon as the crops start going out, soybeans, as soon as the soybeans start getting harvested, these little black bugs that you can barely see will bite the crap out of you any day that it's like above mid 60s. So everyone around here is just sick of them, and we're all ready for cooler weather. I always say that's God's way of making us look forward to wintertime, because we're sick of those bugs. The mosquitoes this year weren't bad, but those things, as soon as the beans come out, it is just horrendous. Let me know in the comments if you have those in your area as well after harvest. I know there's a lot of different bugs that people have to deal with. Like up in Canada, they have those biting flies. It's really not an issue here. We have flies that bite you, but I've seen some videos of the guys up in Canada, and I'm like, those things that look horrendous, and it's like, I don't even know what you do to combat those things, because they seem like they just really, really attack a guy and makes it miserable to be outside. And if you're watching my channel, you more than likely like to be outside, as I do, doing things outside, being productive. So I know a lot of you guys up in Canada have to deal with those flies, and I really feel for you, because it looks miserable. But yeah, so we're getting some chunks. These broken down into chunks that a guy can pick up without straining himself too terribly bad, and make a bunch of bundlewood out of this stuff. It's really good stuff for bundlewood. A lot of barkless, straight grain stuff here. It's going to be really good for my bundlewood. Try to get ahead for next year. I will sell some bundles yet this year, but I'm more thinking for next year now, just getting ahead a little bit so I have a good supply for next spring, early summer, and fall. That's basically when I sell the majority of my bundles. So this is kind of offset to the left, as you can see, so I can kind of spy it pretty good from, you know, just looking down the left side here. The tractor hood doesn't get in the way this way, because when I welded this up, I was like, I want to make this so it's user friendly for the tractor, because that's what I have is a tractor. So I kind of wanted to make it user friendly, so when I'm in the tractor, I can see what I'm doing pretty good. And I just kind of look to the left of the hood of the tractor here, and I can see this all pretty good. I mean, the loader arm's in the way a little bit, but I can look, you know, move my head left to right and kind of see around it that way. But yeah, just kind of breaking some chunks up, push them out of the way here so I can continue on. If I'm gentle with it, I can also use this to pick up some logs and move them. I'll demonstrate on this one, hopefully. I can pick it up without popping it. But if I don't keep going in, I just bite it a little bit, I can pick it up like this and move it. And then get it in a better spot for splitting. I don't like to hold it up in the air when I'm splitting it though, because then it kind of pops off. You don't necessarily always split all the way through. But yeah, see that one split right in half. Beautiful. I can roll it over. Maybe. Have to roll it backwards. I will say with the third function, I can't always curl and open this at the same time, just because they share the same circuit, just a electronic bypass when I use the third function button. So I can't curl and do this at the same time. So I pretty much just position, make my split, and then go from there. Yeah. As I reposition, I open it back up. Then I can come at it from the front like this. I can't see the splitter head as well when it's like this. So like there, I didn't have it out quite far enough. And once it's popped, you know, I can just pick it up, flip it over. Roll that over. Keep going. But yeah, if you have an old splitter laying around, a hydraulic splitter like this that you don't use anymore, so it was a fairly easy build. Biggest thing is getting all your fittings lined up, you know, so you can connect. But overall, pretty easy build. You got any, a little bit of welding skills, it was pretty easy to weld this up. I tried to make it as robust as I could, so so it wouldn't break on me. So there's, a fair amount of force I'm putting on it. It's a pretty heavy splitter. So I just basically wanted to make sure it would hold up to that. Yeah, not super fast, like I mentioned before, but it definitely splits it down into a piece that a guy could pick up, throw in a bucket or whatever to move on to the next step of splitting and making it into the final product of bundlewood and regular firewood. I'll just dig in a little bit. Try to get it centered here so you guys can see pretty good. I do have the camera that's right on the side of the tractor that's giving you kind of a side view. So hopefully that's getting you some good shots. Yeah, it's pretty good firewood. Couple more pops here and we'll have them all split up. We'll be ready for the next step. There we go. Got them all split up. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Not a lot of physical effort. Didn't take very much time. So there we have it. Bunch of big rounds broken down into pieces that a guy can pick up fairly easy, throw into a bucket, or I can come with a grapple and just grab them and set them up on the staging table. Whichever way works best and is easiest at the time. I don't have the bucket over here right now, so it'll probably be the grapple. But yeah, they're all broken up, ready to be processed into firewood. So like I said before, you got an old hydraulic splitter laying around. And you do a lot of firewood, big stuff like this. Most of this is like just free wood that I got from the city cutting down trees and stuff. It's really large diameter stuff. And it's a great way to break it down into chunks that a guy can handle. If you have an old hydraulic splitter that you're not using, consider making something like this. Doesn't take very much. You got a little bit of welding skills. Even if you don't have welding skills, you could buy the metal, the plate, and hire a welder to make, to put together for you. you save a lot of money over buying one of these new commercial ones that are on the market now. The reason I went this direction was for visibility. In a tractor especially, if the I-beam is over top of your splitting, you can't really see what's going on. Where here, I can look from right through here and I can see everything that's going on. That's why I didn't center this in the middle. You know, I know it seems like all the weight's off on the left side, but there's really, the weight's pretty much centered. It's a little bit heavy on this side, but you got the hydraulic cylinder over here too, so that's a lot of your weight there. So I really think, you know, having it offset like this a little bit really helps for visibility in a tractor. Now, if you had a skid steer, you know, it'd all be right there in front of you for the most part. But if you lift it up like this, then your plate's in the way. I guess you'd be able to look straight down. But yeah, if you have a tractor, I think offset like this is the best for visibility of seeing what you're doing over here. You know, and I do pick up the pieces and move them here and there a little bit, but it's not like it's not used to carry, it's used to split. So, but yeah, it was a pretty easy build. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description, and I also put a little tag, you know, up in this corner. Pretty sure it's this corner. Showing the video of when I built this. It was a few years ago. Way before, you know, all the big companies were making them. Yeah, you know, I mean, I saw the ones where they hung straight out, and I was like, I don't want it way out there. Wouldn't be able to see it. So that's why I built it this way. But anyway, hopefully you found this video informative, entertaining, or what have you. If you like and comment on my comment on this video, it really helps me out. So if you would take the time to just click that like and put a comment, it would be tremendous. And if this is the type of content that you like, consider subscribing. But the likes and the comments are what I need the most. You know, when you do that, then YouTube shows it to more people. But of course, if this type of stuff you like, subscribe by all means. But the likes and the comments are what I really need from you. So if you just help me out that way, just click that little like button. YouTube's getting pretty rough these days. So you don't get near the views you used to, because I don't count half the views, because people have, you know, stuff on their computer to block ads, and if they can't show ads to people, you don't even get a count for that thing. So anyway, enough rambling on about that. I do want to thank you for stopping in and watching my video. Until next time, be safe, brothers and sisters.